Hello everyone, welcome to Cloudwatch Part 2. This is our agenda. We'll see Cloudwatch Dashboard, then we'll have a demo on Dashboard, Cloudwatch Alarms with a demo, and finally Cloudwatch Logs. When we say dashboard, typically graphical charts, bars, statistical information, etc. come into our minds. Cloudwatch Dashboard is also same, wherein we can see matrix of AWS resources in GUI based charts. Dashboards are pages in the console which can be used to put all the important statistics deemed important at one place. This is how a dashboard looks like in Cloudwatch. Let's dive into a demo right away. We'll create a dashboard. The name of the dashboard will be AWS Foundation Dashboard. We'll add something called widgets for EC2, ELB and S3. We'll see various graph options and matrix. We'll do some operations like renaming graphs, viewing statistics for matrix for a specific resource. I have launched these 4 EC2 instances. In one of them, CPU usage should be pretty high because I'm using the stress command or the stress utility to do so. I've also created a load balancer which balances or distributes load across 2 EC2 instances. This is the first one and this is the second one. There are 2 EC2 instances. We'll use Cloudwatch to see what metrics are published by these resources. The EC2 instances ELB, also we have S3 bucket. To go to Cloudwatch, from the main management console, you have something called management tools and then Cloudwatch. Click on Cloudwatch. This is the landing page and we have dashboards and then alarms, events, logs and matrix. From here, you can browse different metrics. You can go to the matrix section from here also. You do not have to do anything for AWS resources to generate the matrix. Whenever you use a resource, that resource would automatically generate the matrix. For example, click on matrix and then it will take you to this page. These are the different namespaces I was talking about. These are namespaces. You have DynamoDB, EBS, ELB, SNS, S3, Elastic, File Store, Relational Data Services and EC2. We have been using these services too often. That's why Cloudwatch has generated matrix for all these, or basically these resources pushed matrix data points to Cloudwatch and Cloudwatch has it here. How do you see different matrix? We'll see matrix for EC2 now. Click on EC2 and then this is one dimension. We have per instance matrix. Click on this one and then it'll show you all EC2 instances which are currently running in your account for North Virginia region only. Let's take example of CW EC2 CPU. I have been hogging the CPU of this EC2 instance. So these are the different metrics available. You have CPU credit balance, surplus credit balance, disk read bytes, CPU utilization, network in and out, network packets out and in, disk read and write operations, etc. We are bothered about CPU utilization. Select this one and then you'll see a graph here. You can change the data when you want to see the graph, till what period. It will show you the resource utilization in graph for the last 1 hour. You can custom it also. I want to say for 15 minutes. So for the last 15 minutes, this has been the graph usage. CPU utilization was pretty less and then it suddenly increased to 100%. If I change it to 30 minutes, I'll show you the usage for the last 30 minutes. Remember, you are using Cloudwatch free tier and in free tier, the AWS resources send matrix data in 5 minutes interval. So this is EC2 matrix. Click on all to go back to the previous screen. We can see S3 matrix also. We have storage matrix as of now. This is the bucket. The first matrix is the number of objects, then the bucket size in bytes for different storage types. Then we have matrix for load balancers. In load balancers, there are multiple dimensions. You have per load balancer per AZ matrix, per load balancer matrix, by service, across all load balancers, by namespaces, by AZ. Let us go ahead and click per load balancer. We have these many load balancers. I just created CW CLB and these are the different matrix available. Latency, healthy host count. Select this one and it will give you a count of the healthy hosts and that is in green. So this is the count which is showing and I have multiple matrix here, the CPU matrix, the S3 matrix and ELB matrix. Anyway, don't bother about graph too much now because I'll show you that in dashboards. Then you have request count should be 2 or 3, not too much, unhealthy host count, etc. So this is where you can get matrix for all the AWS services which you are running or which you have used so far. Then in dashboard, you actually use this matrix to create a bar chart or a graph chart. Click on create dashboard. The name would be AWS-foundation-dashboard. Click on create dashboard. We can add line graphs or stacked area graphs or number or text. So I'll use stacked area. Click on configure. Now it is asking you that what matrix you want to add. Let us go ahead and add EC2 per instance matrix and then CPU utilization for CW EC2-CPU. This is the CPU utilization. Click on create widget, and it is giving you a very nice graph. You can change the dimension and everything. You can rename it. I have renamed the graph. You can change the dimensions also. You can resize it. You can make it full screen. There are a lot of cosmetic things which you can do here. CPU utilization has been 100 from this point onwards. When you maximize, you can highlight a certain portion and then that portion will be expanded. You can save this dashboard. We can add other widgets also. We'll use the same stacked area because I like it. And this time we'll use RDS. In RDS you have DB cluster because we launched Aurora. By database class, by database engine, let us go ahead and select database engine. We used Aurora and MySQL. Let's see the CPU utilization of MySQL. It is not giving anything. Let's see if we have read latency. There's no data here. Okay, let's see about Aurora. Do you get anything here? We did not use Aurora or this database. Database is too much. We did not do any operation. Okay, let's say replication lag. And the custom would be 1 day or maybe 3 days. So it is giving you some data. Click on create widget and another widget has been created, which is a replication lag. You can resize this one as well. Currently there's no data because the custom is 30 minutes. If you change it to 1 day, that change will happen for the entire dashboard, not only for one. It will be for the entire. So if you make it 1 hour, I cannot say this because I have already terminated this RDS instance. And in the last 1 hour, only this EC2 instance was running. Let's see different graph options. You can click on these 3 dots and then you can edit this graph. We have graphed matrix. We have added only CPU utilization. Let me try to add one more matrix here. Typically you'll create a graph for the same resource. Let's say network in, there has not been much. Click on update widget. Now the graph has changed because you are mixing 2 different matrices which are not related to each other in any way. One is network in, which generates data points in count or bytes, and then the other one is in percentage, so they don't match. You should not do this when you create graph on your own. You can remove this matrix from here by clicking on this cross button. You can change the y-axis from left to right using this. So y-axis has been moved to right. Then this portion will tell you how far back you want to see the data. It is saying 1 hour, so this entire period is actually 1 hour, from 1915 hours to 2020 hours. We are seeing data over a period of 1 hour. As the CPU usage started at this point, during this time, the EC2 instance was not even launched. You can click on update widget to update this widget. And in this dashboard, you have to change the time period and it will affect all the graphs. You can take actions. You can add widget from here if you want to add more widgets. You can create a new dashboard. You can save this dashboard. You can favorite this dashboard or delete this one. These are all cosmetic things, but these are important. You'll use the matrix to create individual widgets or graphs, and then you'll have a consolidated place where you can see all your important resources. I've only shown you EC2 and Aurora RDS instance. Now the graph is not nice because RDS instance was launched and terminated some time back. EC2 instance was launched and it is still running. So that's why the graphs are not matching. But typically in your environment, in your corporate environment, you'll see a pretty nice graph because all your resources will be running for a long time.